Hello, hello! I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Running to Write, where I give questionable writing advice through running metaphors. Today is all about developing your writing fingerprint, finding your tendencies, and expanding on them. Within a race, you'll find people of all shapes and sizes. Some people will be running to set a new personal best time. Some people will be racing to raise money for a cause they care about. Some people wear costumes. There's a few famous figures who juggle throughout the marathon or who pushed loved ones in carts the whole way. All those people have their own unique reasons why they run, and that gets showcased on race day. Likewise, writers portray themselves and what they choose to share with their world through their novels. This doesn't mean that those who write murder mysteries are dangerous, rather that they like brain teasers and tricking their audience. When I read a fight scene in a critically acclaimed work, I had the thought, this wasn't how I would have described the moment or how I would have written the fallout for the characters afterward. The scene traveled down a rabbit hole of conflicted emotions and self-doubt due to the narrator's opponent, going in ways I never would have considered. Another book wrote fights like a car manual with step-by-step instructions. Both instances highlight the different author's stylistic choices. In other words, their writing fingerprint. This is a Raymod Feist novel, Flight of the Nighthawks. It's one of the later ones in the Mechemia series. Based on Raymod Feist's writing fingerprints, I know this will be a story of a pair of young characters, most likely a wizard in training, a thief, a squire, as they get wrapped up in their region's political intrigue in the backdrop of a fantasy adventure. Across the 30-some books in the series, there are numerous genre shifts, from stories about magical discovery to tales of redemption to high seas adventures. Over the hundreds of years told and thousands of named characters, it all flows with the same authorial voice. One of the middle novels included a trading places level of economic detail, where the characters rig the market in preparation for a major war effort. Over the course of the novel, a character won and lost multiple fortunes, and I remained interested in his struggles thanks to the incredible writing. One Raymod Feist fingerprint that carries through most of his novels is that there will be a fight scene in which the hero is outnumbered, though their enemies are not trained at working well together. The fight scene may occur in a hallway where the same rules apply, and the numbers don't amount to anything. This allows a small but skilled band to hold their own against overwhelming odds. Jim Butcher gives Dresden the worst day of his life every year in each of his novels. Just when you think something good is about to happen for Dresden, the reward is taken away, leaving him worse off thanks to that slight glimmer of hope. Jim Butcher's narrative voice is rife with sarcasm unique to the Dresden Files. Plenty of authors have sarcastic narrators, but you can read any page within the Dresden Files and recognize Jim Butcher's authorial fingerprint. I haven't read Jim Butcher's Calderon series, though that is in my to-do pile. That means I can't comment on how his authorial voice comes through in those novels or whether it's changed. And I definitely want to do a commentary follow-up video where I compare the differences. Stephen King novels will take place in a small town, likely along the United States Northeast coast. These are character driven to the point where I will know every single person's hopes, dreams, fears, how they take their coffee. George R.R. Martin's scenes are overflowing with descriptions which are often harsh like a punch to the gut, while Robin Hobb applies flowing metaphors and delves into her character's feelings to instill those strong emotional connections. As I read books for fun, I take notes on lines that capture my imagination. I analyze them for why they're so special and why they stick in my mind. By tailoring those ideas to my style, I create something unique. These are 5 ways to form your writing fingerprint and make your work stand out. Number 1, write to your passions. This is where the questionable part of my advice comes in, as writing to your interests may lead to a niche story only a handful of people want to read. True, that's not a way to make money by writing. Who knows, maybe the small sample size of beta readers were the outliers. Maybe by expanding your audience, you'll find that there's people out there with similar interests and who would want to read a story about a 30-something-year-old application security consultant who lives near DC and who enjoys running and writing. I don't know, just to throw a completely random idea out there. Mix in some ghosts or political drama, and you have the makings of a halfway decent story. Better yet, combine the two. If you write a story that you genuinely enjoy, there has to be at least one other person out there who will like it as well. Writing a story you care about makes the act of writing easier and more fun. This passion then carries over to the reader, engaging them more in the story. Number 2, showcase yourself. What is the one thing in the world you alone have experienced? With close to 8 billion people out there, there's going to be a lot of similar experiences, yet none of them will be exactly like yours. I remember being a kid in the suburbs and wandering around with my friends until we got lost, then having to find our way back to a street we recognized so that we could make it home. Back then, every day after school was a new exploration adventure. That was wildly dangerous behavior, especially since I grew up before cell phones were really a thing. I was extremely lucky that no one ever broke a bone, and that the worst that ever happened to us was getting covered in mud or a little scratched up because of thorns. Those are the kinds of stories which I alone can tell. Again, plenty of people had similar stories from 90s suburbia or early 2000s semi-rural life. But no one has the exact experiences I did. Many characters within my stories are heavily influenced by people I know. This allows me to make them feel more real and care much more about them. I have laughed at beta reader comments when they said that a certain character acted in a way that wasn't believable, knowing that the person and incident were from my past, and that I toned down the moment. Number 3, be loud. Crank your scenes and writing style up to 11. Make your characters over the top and create colorful worlds as vivid as your imagination. Use your best judgment to not overdo it, but I have let beta readers tell me when character mannerisms were too much. That led to a few F-bomb laden comments when my characters swore in food products. Needless to say, I made a few recursive changes, but decided to keep a lot of the dialogue as is. Number 4, be uncomfortable. My greatest fear isn't the dark or being alone or any number of reasonable, legitimate phobias. Nope. My greatest fear is public speaking. So of course I started this video series. I know that in some of the episodes I do sound like an emotionless robot, which I'm trying to work through. I like to think I improve with every episode, but who knows? Either way, I am pushing myself and my writing by walking you through my process and thoughts. If you take one thing away from today, it should be this. Expand what you think you're capable of. And lastly, number 5, learn how others craft. This is something to practice on your own. Copy the opening paragraph from your favorite novel, then rewrite it as a different famous author. You can make the paragraph sound like an epic mystery with a strict magic system like a Brandon Sanderson novel. Or you can use the self-aware, possibly sardonic voice of Neil Gaiman. Write in the style of 3 different authors, and then create a new paragraph that is completely your own. This will make you a better writer by studying what works for others and molding it into your writing toolkit. Feel free to post your paragraphs in the comments or send them to me. I would be thrilled to read what you've written. Hey, Future Ben here. I wanted to adjust one thing that I just said, in that if you want to post your creative paragraphs in the comment section or send them to me, please do, but you should use your second or third favorite novel, as your favorite novel is often a security question and should not be posted publicly. Those are my 5 steps to finding a writing voice. Ah! Yeah, I'm not really sorry about that one. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Writing to Write. What are some of your tendencies for your characters and settings? Join the Writing to Write community on Facebook, Twitter, and all social media to share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this episode, then please give it a like and subscribe to this channel. See you next time. Until then, understand yourself and your style. Thrive on those fingerprints within your writing.